Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
Today we're going to cover chapters 1 through 5. You've read it at last.
Yeah.
We will almost certainly swear during this summary.
To be honest, I never seen that before in a book. I seen movies, but in a book is eventually we'll find out where this happened or what time history this happened. It will be like cool if we can.
Huh.
She's kind of like a legend as well
Because she took out the battery behind. For ages I was thinking it was an actual battery.
AAA battery.
No, a big grid, like a grid scale battery.
I'm guessing it's gonna be one of the main characters. There's Seiden. Seiden. Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things fantasy fiction.
Join us as I'm going through my first read through of Fourt Wing. A book that we started talking about in our pilot episode, and then today we're going to dive a little bit more.
Today we're going to cover chapters 1 through 5 of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. You've read it at last.
Yeah, finally.
So before we start with a summary of what happens over the first 5 chapters, I wanted to kind of ask you a couple of things. There's a warning at the top of the book, at the start of the book, and we should probably start with a similar warning.
Okay.
We will almost certainly swear during this summary. And there's some themes throughout the book that are just not suitable for kids, so please be careful if you're listening around children. Probably not safe for work to have on in the office.
Yeah, definitely this book is not something that should be suitable to read next to children.
Not a bedtime
No,
story.
we're not expecting that we're going to have any children listen to this podcast. So, but we just want to give you the heads up. We're going to be swearing, maybe. It's in the book. So
Talking about adult themes as well.
Exactly.
So, right at the start of the book, there is a warning. I don't remember it off by heart, but basically you get thrilling adventure, brutal violence,
Yes.
sex on the page, all those things. What did you read that first?
Yes, there was one of the first things that caught my attention. Just from the first page is already telling you what you're going to find in this book, and it's definitely like adult stuff.
Felt like, for me, one of those warnings before a TV show or a cinema where you have flashing lights. Like, just be prepared.
Yeah, to be honest, I never seen that before in a book. I seen movies, but in a book is maybe if it's something really controversial, but something that's like about dragons or knights or whatever, you don't see that kind of like warning.
Right.
But in this one, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. It sets you up for like quite a thrilling adventure.
Yes.
Then the next one, before we get into the summary, there's quite a strange, it's not an epigraph, it's a note at the beginning of the book that all things are faithfully.
All the story is transcribed from an Iberian into modern language by Yesenia Neilward.
Yesenia Neilward.
Yes, there's a scribe, and that's something that caught my attention as well, because as I said in the pilot episode, when it's about fantasy books, I really like when it's something that you can locate in real world. And then when we see this actually happened, and there's like a transcription about this, so we're like, oh, maybe, and eventually we'll find out where this happened or what time in history this happened. It would be like cool if we can, like.
So interesting. So you feel like it could have been in the Dark Ages, or like
like a medieval age or something
and dragons
like
were
that.
actually real.
Yeah, so maybe by the end, if all the dragons die, then there's explanation, and then just go to normal. But yeah, that's one of the things that caught my attention. But at the same time, like when they're talking about this Yesenia, I was like, okay, maybe she will be like somebody important in the book. But so far, I read the five first chapters. I heard
You
nothing
haven't met
about
her
her.
yet.
So
Do they all die?
okay.
It kind of says. It says in the we don't know yet, obviously,
Yeah.
but it says something like I can't even remember what it says, but it says something like faithfully transcribed to commend those
Yeah, for all of them,
who
they
have fallen.
fall. Yeah.
Yeah, may their souls be commended to Malak. And when someone dies in the book, Malak is the god of death,
Yeah.
and they commend him to Malak, commend them to the souls to Malak.
Yes.
So who dies? That's the big question.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Definitely Dylan. Anyway, spoiler alert. So I'm going to run through a summary of the first 5 chapters, and then I'm totally desperate to hear what you think of the book so far. I mean, it hasn't even got to the really good bits yet.
Yeah, at the moment, I had the first 5 chapters, but I still feeling like, okay, like I can see where you're going, but at the moment, don't give me like I'm hooked, or I want to know like,
You just
desperate
wait.
what's going to happen.
You just wait till threshing, that's
Yeah.
all I want to say. Okay, so it's conscription day, and we meet our heroine as she makes her way up to General Sorrengail's office, aka her hard-as-nails mother, who's forcing her into the Riders' Quadrant of Basgayath War College. Violet has been in training to be a scribe, but Sorrengails are riders, and Mummy S is not about to let her daughter stay in the library like a little nerd. That is Mummy Sorrengail's opinion, not mine, because
Yeah.
I think libraries are cool. Anyway, Vi struggles on over to her mum's office with her 10-ton bag, and here's her tough nut sister fighting her case to the general. Violet can't be a rider. She's not weak, she's just fragile.
Yeah.
We get some suspicious mentions of Daddy Sorrengail. Did you pick up on this?
Yes.
Her scribe father's death just after her brother Brennan was killed in battle, and some vagueness around a sickness bug during General Sorrengail's pregnancy, which causes the ends of Violet's hair to lose its colour. Mira sorts out Violet's pack, disregarding the books of fables her dad used to read her as a child, and she walks over to the entrance of the Riders' Quadrant. Replaces her slick as shit boots, gives her some dragon scale armour. After a quick warning that Mira would hate to be an only child, Violet ascends the steps leading to the parapet, the 18-inch wide death bridge, which is the only way into the Riders' Quadrant for the cadets.
Mm-hmm.
We meet Dylan and Rhiannon on the way up the steps. Dylan doesn't last long though, as he falls off the parapet into the ravine below. Wow, 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 wow. Violet swaps one boot with Rhiannon as she spots her shiny soles, sparking the friendship Mira told her not to make. Enter Xaden Ryerson, a tall, dark, and oh so handsome son of a traitor who appears to want to kill Violet as revenge for her mother putting his father to death, for leading a rebellion against the Kingdom of Navarre. We learn that all the kids of the traitors had to witness the execution of their parents, and they were marked with a rebellion relic from the Dragon of the Generals.
Mm-hmm.
More on Xaden Ryerson later. Twat Barlow, I mean Jack Barlow, what a dick he is.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Gives Violet a hard time all the way up the steps, casually throws someone off the parapet, even waits for him. He waits for it, this other cadet, and he says a scrawny cadet picks him up and throws him off the parapet. And then he chases Violet across to the end. She makes it though, after a hairy patch in the middle, where she slips and has to kind of pull herself back up on the parapet. And she gets Twat Barlow, because that's his name now. She gets Twat Barlow quite literally by the balls. She's a rider. She chooses to let Jack go though. Do you think she'll regret that later? I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, Dane Atos. More about him later too. All we need to know for now is that she bumps into her old friend Dane. He puts her into his squad, which is thankfully far away from Xaden Ryerson's. But wait. A quick meeting of wing leaders, and Xaden has moved her entire squad into his wing. Not just any wing though, fourth wing. We get the first drop of the name of the book. We get our first glimpse of dragons and our first death roll, which gives us an idea of how brutal this place is going to be. 68 dead on the first day. Dane makes a few attempts to get Violet out of the Rider's quadrant into the scribe quadrant, which gives us an idea of how annoying this man is going to be. The cadets start their lessons, and we learn in Battle Brief that the wards are faltering, and the Griffin Flyers of Poor Emil are raiding the border village looking for something. But what they're looking for, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Next class, the sparring mat. This is my worst nightmare. Twat Barlow gets his second kill in as many days by snapping some poor guy's neck, and pink-haired rebellion relic Imogen gets paired against Violet. It's safe to say Imogen wins the hand-to-hand, with the sound of Violet's snapping arm, but she does not yield.
Yeah, that's a really good summary.
Did I miss anything?
I think we will be on details, like
Going into
part
details.
by part, but yeah, I think overall it's a really good summary about it. So, we'll start. We maybe talk a little bit about chapter 1.
Yeah?
Okay, so...
What did you think?
Okay, so, first thing that I have, Violet, she was like training all her life to be a scribe. The mother just decided like 6 months ago that no, she's gonna be a writer now because none of her children is gonna be a scribe, which is weird because she was married with a scribe. So why she suddenly is like no, she can't be a scribe. There's no way that she's gonna be a scribe. Like why? That's like one of the first
Well, he
things.
died, so she even says
Yeah, but-
he's dead. I don't think he cares about much these days or something. Brutal.
Yeah, like somebody. I think she's mentioned like somebody's like mentioned the weather or something like that. Like she doesn't care. But for me, is suspicious because first, she wasn't meant to be a writer, and then she had just 6 months to just prepare as better as she can, and then do the test and do everything to become a writer. So that's like the first thing that I like. Why? You can say that yeah, because she like the general, then she like so like she had this pride that her children has to be writers as her as well, which nobody else agreed with her, not even Mira, Violet's sister. She tried to convince her mother that that's a really bad idea, but she had nothing to do with that. She already made her mind that Violet is going.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be a writer, and that's it. There's nothing to talk about it. But then you see this figure, this general, this woman. They're so hard. They're so like tough. But once she is alone with Violet, I can see like a little bit of she cares about.
Softness.
Yeah, I can see a mother.
Mm.
Even when she was like arguing with Mira, she said that Violet had more pain, and just one day that she doesn't like in a week or something like that. So she thinks that Violet, she can do it, that she is stronger enough to go through all of that. So she really trusts
He
her.
believes in her.
Yes, but again, like why suddenly she has to be a writer? That like the main question for me. Like obviously, there's might be something going on, and Violet has to be the one to find out in the writers squadron. Like, okay, she's a really clever girl, and the mother knows because she's supposed to be a scribe and not just a regular scribe. She's supposed to be like the star of the
So you
scribe.
think she's putting her into the rider's quadrant so she can get some information?
Yes, as you mentioned in the previous episode, there's a secret. Violet
Yeah,
said
because
that-
it was in the blur.
Yeah, there wasn't blur in the cover as well. So I think maybe the mother is suspecting something is going on with the riders, and she is sending Violet kind of
Oh.
as a spy, but without she knowing about it. It's just because she trusts her. she knows that she's stronger enough and she's really clever girl. So that's kind of like, okay, maybe that makes sense for me if this is going on.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one thing, but then when she is doing the test, when she got to the parapet, and then she's trying to do it before this storm comes, that storm as well is like a little
A
bit
suspicious storm.
Yeah, definitely.
Why is the storm suspicious?
Uh, I mean, because it was like in the right time, in the right place for this to happen, and when it was happening, Violet was like crossing, but otherwise, that could be something that maybe
So
for
you're
wipe out the other cadets. Or
Yeah, but you're talking about General Sorengel's signet.
that was like one of the things I was thinking about.
So
Obviously, I don't know that much about if more than one people can have exactly the same one, and if I was the mother, what she was doing it, or actually she was doing it on purpose, because
yeah, so General Sorengel's signet is the power wielding storms.
yes,
So you think that General Sorengel perhaps sent the storm?
yeah,
As
I think
Violet
that
is
maybe
working.
somehow she caused it. I don't know if she did it on purpose, if she can control it, or just because she was under the stress that her daughter she might die even when she's like trusting, but she might be wrong.
So we don't actually ever, or in the current two books, get confirmation like of whether that storm was caused. But there are other things. But I think there's, if it was her that sent the storm, there's several reasons why it could be. It could be one, that this would be the really sinister one, which I'm sure it isn't. She didn't actually want her to make it.
Okay.
Another reason could be that she was worried about her and she couldn't, because it's very hard to control your emotions as a rider, which we learn. I don't think General Sorengel has much trouble controlling her emotions, but she might when her children are concerned. So it could be at the point that Violet's crossing, she actually is really struggling to control her emotions because she's worried about her.
Yeah.
Or it could be that she got the timing wrong. She's actually, there's never enough dragons for the amount of riders or the amount of cadets. So she could have been trying to
Just gonna help, just get
Yeah,
rid of some
wipe out
potential
everyone else.
killer for her as well.
Yeah.
And make sure that she's going to get a dragon.
Yeah, so there's several reasons. You never get a confirmation, or we haven't yet got a confirmation of what the reasons might be, but there's like varying degrees of like psychopath to great mother.
Yeah, because obviously there's a mention about that stone as well, because Violet, she knows a lot of data from the training as described. So she knows that 15% as average of the cadets will die in the parapet, but in this specific time they were like 20%, which is like a massive increase. And she blamed is because that the storm. So obviously that storm was causing all these like deaths as
So
well. So that's like the start there, like okay, there's something going on with that storm.
Yeah, she could have had so much faith that Violet would do it, and she was trying to help her. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's justify is the mother doing it, but like I said, I don't know if that signal is gonna be just for her or somebody else can have it or something else can like make these storms. But just need to go a little bit.
Yeah.
A few more
It's
chapters.
so hard for me to not say stuff and explain how signets work and yeah. But you'll learn.
But yeah, I think there's more about Violet than Miss the Eye, because so far and the way they describe her, and like really small, really like that you're not expecting.
Fragile.
Yeah, she's gonna be like a rider, or gonna be like physically like
Pale skin, pale hair, pale.
yeah, and like the pale hair, that I find that as well a little bit suspicious. I don't know if there's like a reason, and then the mother knows that maybe she's have something because the sickness that she has, something maybe passed to her or something. I think there might be a reason about this, but that's something that I guess we'll find out later on,
Or we
or
won't.
you.
Or we'll still not know. But we will have some theories and some suspicions.
Yes. So yeah, then when she start, okay, she's going to do it. Mira was helping her, giving like all the advice because she is a second year rider, so she had a lot of experience already. She know what she need to pass the first test, the part of it, and giving the proper clothes, everything. First thing that she says, don't make friends. That's the first thing that she does. So she meets this girl, how we call Ryan? Rhiannon. And
Or Ree.
yeah,
Ree.
and Dylan. And Dylan.
I'm not gonna die. Bye.
Yeah, again, straight away, when I was like reading about this guy, they give me exactly like the same impression when you're watching these movies about war and you see the typical guy. Oh, this is little Timmy, and this is my wife. We just get a house. We're gonna be so happy together after the war, and after the helicopter is dead. So
Yeah.
like I knew straight away when he was talking about like, oh yeah, he wanted to propose, but it was like bad luck. So they're going to wait until he come back. Like, oh god,
He's not
you're
going
dead.
back.
You're gonna die. But the thing that surprised me is like, yeah, like 2 pages later he was dead.
Like immediately.
Like, yeah, like what was the
I
point?
think that was going to be the Harry, Ron and Hermione
Yeah, I
trio.
thought that he will die in like more dramatic point of the story, but no, it was like 2 pages, literally like 2 pages later he's dead, and like okay.
I know, and it's so sad because his mum was like not wanting to let him go, and as a mother of a boy, well, I mean, as a mother of anyone, it's just because Dylan, like she had didn't he like didn't her dad have to pull, or his dad, getting my gender wrong,
Yeah.
His dad had to pull the mother away when they were saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, reading it for the second time, obviously it hits different because she's saying goodbye and she doesn't ever see him again. It's really sad.
Yes. But yeah, there were like a comment I had to say about this poor Dylan. I had to mention it because he didn't have enough time in the story to like be
We never
more
got to
important
know
character.
He was important because I think he needed to die because you needed to feel something. So
Yeah, there's kind of like you will die regardless if you're a good person,
A
you're
good
bad,
person,
it's
yeah.
like it's random or skills or
yeah,
whatever.
it's just a mark of, like, again, the 68 people dead in the first 24 hours.
Mm.
It just, all of that serves to show you what a brutal place
Yeah, well,
it's
it was
going to
yeah 67 died in the parade and why die?
be. One got roasted.
Because the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else I had to say about it? So when Mira is with Violet and they start to see these new cadets and they start to see the how you call it, like this mark that the dragon made to
The relic.
the relic, yeah.
Rebellion relic.
Yeah. So okay, I found them like a little bit like weird. The what like she didn't know about it because she's like really clever. She's this kind of woman that she was like a scribe, so she had like a lot of data, and that's something that you will see in other chapters that she had like a lot of data.
On the parapet, she's trying to calm herself down.
Yeah, given like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff too. Obviously, that's made for the people who read it to know a little bit more about this world, because that's another thing that it caught my attention. The straight away you start like already in the action part of this book, and little by little, then just giving you like little
Context.
like little part of the story. So you start to make like put all the pieces together. But yeah, I will believe more that she knew about it, but she never saw it before. So for me, it would be more realistic. Like, oh, that's
Yeah.
it. That's how it looks like. So she knew about it, but why she didn't know anything about
Yeah.
it when it's something it happened just basically once and in the lifetime of this world, at least.
Yeah, I agree as well, because I think you see the letter that General Sorengale writes to General Melgren that says she's officially disagreeing with the fact that the children should watch the executions of their parents.
Yes.
But do you think she wouldn't, like, I mean, if something happens in your day,
Mm-hmm.
you come home and you, like, if you're really that passionate about it, do you not think she would have, like, around the dinner table, she'd have been raging? And then Violet would have heard. She might not, because Violet was a teenager when it happened. I feel like Violet should have known that. I agree with you. But part of it is Rebecca Yarros building the world. She's got to tell the reader that stuff.
Yeah.
And she does that via Violet. Perhaps a more, like, believable way of doing it would be Violet saying, is that the rebellion relic that was caused by the dragons? And so maybe, yeah, because Violet is such a encyclopedia, and you see that as she's crossing the parapet, 'cause she's telling us about all the provinces and the
all
geography
story
of the
and
land.
stuff, yeah.
So she obviously prepared really well for the scribe quadrant. But I like that as a world building thing. I like how Violet's, because when you're stressed and you're anxious, you try and everyone has their own mechanisms of, like, how to calm back down.
Yeah.
And that's a good one. I like it because it also serves the purpose of telling us
Yeah.
and building the world.
Yes, but still, for me, it's like, okay, she didn't know about it, but her brother died in the war, so how is possible that she, yeah, that she didn't know about something that's actually, like, really close to her, that she's been affected by that war, she's been affected by that because everything changed for her. The brother died, the dad got sick or started having problems after that, the death of the Brennan.
Oh yeah, his heart. That's why his
Yeah.
heart problems. That's suspicious as well.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was because sadness, because this Brennan was, for the stuff that I read about him, he was like the favorite of both parents, and because
Yeah, but
Violet said that Brennan was the one that the mother loved, that she respect Mira and she tolerates Violet.
yeah, but you've got a sister, I've got a sister. Don't we always sometimes think that the other one's the favourite? Like, that's just natural part of being sibling.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess maybe it's in this world it's just because the general, she was more into, like, obviously, like, army kind of style, and then the son was like a really good one, so make it proud. And then
Yeah, but you've got 2 children, and those you have. I don't have a favourite. Just saying. You don't. I think it's just because we're always going to see this from the perspective. Well, actually, we do get some different point of view chapters later in the book,
yeah,
but we're always going to see it from Violet's perspective. So she is always going to be a bit dramatic.
yeah, yeah, it could be that there's, like, Violet's point of view and nothing else. But I found it, like, a little bit like, okay, that was, like, definitely a war that caused so many change
Yeah.
Violet's life.
I hope I can say this kind of stuff, and it's not really a spoiler. It's a, like, anti-spoiler. We still don't have a lot of details about her dad's death, and there are so many suspicious things about it. So this is, like, quite a good thing for me, because we can speculate, and I can still I don't know
Yeah,
why that happened, but it is really suspicious.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And then talking about all the rebellion, about the people who was, like, causing all this war. Then we talk about one of the, I'm guessing it's gonna be one of the main characters. There's Seidan. Ah, Seidan. Can't say the name without a smile, can you?
Well, he wants to kill her, so I shouldn't really like him.
Yeah, but yeah, I had so many questions about this guy because his father was the leader of the rebellion, so he was punished as well just because he was the son of this guy. So one of the things was, like, he now is gonna be he's gonna do the test to become a rider, but that was a punishment because everyone thought that he would just die. But I don't know if we find this later on or we find any kind of data. My question is like, did he always want to be a rider or he want to be something else before? Because he was basically forced to be a rider. For him was literally graduate or die. So he was like, okay, he might die with all the tests, and if the tests don't kill him, some people will kill him because he will always be
The
as
son
a
of
traitor.
Fenrisen, yeah.
Yes, and everything it was in the wrong direction because in the end he managed to pass everything. He get his own dragon, and now he's like
Like one of the most brutal dragons that there is. So.
yeah, exactly.
Did I tell you that somebody asked me who my celebrity crush was? And I said I don't have a real life one. I just have one from a book. And you might be able to suspect now who that might be. Anyway, we don't know much about him. All we know is he wants to kill Violet.
But does he?
Does he?
That's my question. Because obviously, like in the first time they are like face to face, so he knows that she is General Strong's daughter, and I think maybe he can see that she's not supposed to be there, because he's like looking up down and it's like he maybe like questioning why she's doing there. He doesn't bother even try to do something to her because he even think that she won't make it. That's when Dylan died, and then he said, "Now it's your turn."
It's not funny.
I know. Sorry, Dylan. Yeah, we still love you. But obviously, for me, it's like, okay, this guy, he could like kill her or could do anything right there or whatever. He didn't. Why? It's like because he genuinely believed that she just killed herself because she's just so like little thin that she won't make it, and because everything is so brutal from the to become a rider, that he just believed she will die eventually. So why even bother? Or maybe.
Or is there another reason?
Well, that's why I was asking. Did he want to be a rider in the first place? Because if he didn't, then maybe he might feel like identified with her.
But who wouldn't? Maybe, yeah. Like,
because he can see that maybe he knows that
but he
she's
doesn't
like the
know
general.
that at that point. He doesn't know that she's forced into the rider squadron. But no, I forgot what I was going to say. We'll come back.
No, but that was like my first feeling. That maybe somehow he feel like that she shouldn't be dead, but she's dead. Why? Well, she is the daughter of the general, so that must be the reason. And he's a clever guy as well. That's something that we've shown in the next episodes as well. But yeah, so far this all my stuff, my takeaway from chapter 1. I don't know if you have something else to say about this.
I wondered what you thought about Mira. Like,
Yeah,
can you imagine her?
and at the beginning when she was talking with the mother, I didn't know they were related. So I thought that she was actually like feeling Violet can be a rider because she just not worthy or she just shouldn't be there. So I thought that maybe she was being like mean to her, but she was actually trying to help.
She's caring about her.
Yeah, and then you can see after they leave that she take the clothes, she's actually being a big sister with her. So you can tell that she's really nice. And she's kind of like a legend as well between the riders or they want to be riders.
Yeah, because she took out the battery behind.
Yeah.
For ages, I was thinking it was an actual battery. You know, like a
Like AAA battery.
No, a big grid, like a grid scale battery. That's like a massive battery. But obviously, then I was like, they don't have electricity.
We don't know.
No, they don't, do they? They have mage lights. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to ask you was about the other quadrants. Like, obviously, we don't know much about them, but you've got riders, scribes, infantry, healers.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered what I was going to say before. It was like, who wouldn't want to be a rider? I would love to be a rider. I know I'd probably fall off the steps getting up to the parapet. Like, let's face it, I'm not going to be a rider. But it's so cool. They're the only ones that actually have magic. Nobody else does.
Yeah, obviously everyone is into like riding the dragon, and it's so cool. It's like how to train your dragon.
Yeah, it's really similar. You get a signet though. The dragon channels its power to you, and you get a power. The healers have to rely on normal medicine.
Oh right, they're not magical.
No, because they don't have dragons. The magic only comes.
I thought maybe they're doing potions or kind of like Harry Potter style.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's not magic though.
Well, potion is still like magic.
Not really
if I don't know, if they do studying like modern medicine can do now. Like if somebody had a broken bone and then just put something and the bone is fine.
No.
For example.
No, that doesn't happen.
Damn.
Sorry, spoiler. And then infantry. The thing I'm not sure I understand is that I don't know if the infantry have to pass the exam to get to Basgaiath, or infantry just like the foot. I know they're the foot soldiers. They're like the ones that do all the legwork. But I don't know if they're supposed to pass an exam.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's just the army. I don't know.
Yeah, so for that I just really a lot of details about the riders, a few about the scribe, and that's it.
Nothing about
nothing. There's nothing about healers or infantry. There's nothing.
She just kind of said infantry fodder, didn't she? So it's kind of like that's just where you go if you don't make it into the other quadrants. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You don't hear more about infantry until the next book, really. Then the healers, you will, because she's a bit fragile. But anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, shall we go to chapter 2? Or?
Yeah, that took ages. I'm going to be here all night.
Yeah, so chapter 2, main theme. Jack Barlow.
Oh my god, Twat Barlow.
Yeah. I don't like him.
You don't like him? I'm glad.
Nah, but you know that it's not because it's a bad guy, because he's not a bad guy. He is a bully and a coward, because he killed 2 guys so far. Yeah. But the first one, he was in a position that he wasn't even maybe like...
He didn't need to kill him, did he?
They were more like focusing, don't kill themselves from the parapet.
Yeah.
So like why he was taking advantage.
And why was he so confident up there? Like how was he not getting blown around by the wind?
Well, I guess he was prepared.
Beefcake.
Yeah. And the other guy that he kills as well, he was smaller than him. So he's like a bully, but he made sure that the one he bullied.
Yeah, he makes me so angry. He gets worse. Sorry. I'm spoiling it, aren't I? Because I'm saying you don't hear this and you do hurt it, but I can't help it.
Yes, but obviously in chapter 2 everything is Violet trying to cross the parapet. Dylan died, so now it's her turn, and then she has to do it. She is scared, and then a technique for her to calm down is just go for facts, because if she knows the facts, then it will be easy for her to just keep the mind distracted, I guess. And yes, we start to know a little bit more about this world inside, and at the same time we start to see like a little bit of action with this Jack Barlow chasing her. So we are like, oh, what's going to happen? I wasn't expecting that she would die there, because that would be like really rough. Yeah. And the other ones, it just credits for all the people to have for these 2 chapters. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of like, okay, I know they want to make it like intense. They want to make it like, oh my god, what's going to happen? But at the same time, like, it's too early to think that you're gonna die there.
Yeah. I mean, you know there's another book as well, unless it's from someone else.
Well, I don't know if she's there.
Point of view,
I know there's another book, but I don't know if she's there. But, yeah, I mean, like, okay. It's kind of like, I'm guessing that if I'm seeing the series and everything, it would be, like, good to see, like, that she, like, fall and the other guy tried to push her. Or
I think I was going to say that, like, we might do a bit after but we could just intersperse it through. I think this bit just shows that this TV series needs a really big budget.
Yeah, it's gonna be another Game of Thrones, pretty much, because you had the dragons as well.
It would just look rubbish, won't it? If it's like not a big parapet with like good CGI and stuff.
Yeah, it has to be something
really
look like it's scary. Like people die there, so you need to make sure that you have all the details for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was struggling because obviously she had. Well, we didn't talk about, but she saw a boot with knew her best friend.
Really.
So she was struggling, but she make it, but with Jack Barlow chasing her, and then, like you said in the summary, she grabbed him by the balls, kind of.
Dagger to the balls.
Yes. I mean, I'm with her as well, because I would say just kill him, that's it, kill him. But she said that she wasn't in a good position to kill him. The only thing they will do is just chop the balls off.
Yeah,
and then he won't die because of that, and then
he'll even feel later even more. Yeah, but you got to remember, like, not many people, people just can't kill people. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. I would say I don't have any experience in that, but it can't be an easy thing to do. It's not just like she got not just the wrong angle. She's she's not gonna just kill him but she's not that type of person.
Yeah, I mean, she meant to be a scribe, and scribes are more like librarians, so they're never
not just librarians. I would say they're historians more than librarians. They're
collecting like all the data, and they're like analysts as well. I think they're given like a little bit like insights about what's going on to the riders as well with all the data that they provide.
Yeah, they also get information from the front lines back to them. Like, they're the information people and the history and the they're really important. They're just not killers.
Yeah, definitely. She's still a scribe, so she might be dressing as a rider and be part of the rider squadron, but she's still a scribe. Yeah. That's it. I don't have anything else to add from chapter 2.
I can't remember exactly what happened in each chapter, so I'll just take your word from it for it. I've read it quite a few times, but it all blurs into one.
Yeah, so let's see chapter 3, what I had to say about chapter 3. So in chapter 3 now, then we see the Natos. There's like, it's like, this guy, there's like, he's trying to protect her, he's trying to be good for her, but it's this kind of person that's like overdoing, and with that overdoing, it's just getting annoying. It's like, just go away.
I felt the same about Mira, and I was going to wait until I said this, until we met Dane, but I don't see that there's much difference between Mira and Dane. They both really care about Violet. They both don't want her to be a rider. They both think she's fragile.
Yeah.
Even though they say that's not weak, it's the same thing. It's quite offensive. It's like they just don't have any faith in her. But when you listen to other fans, and on stories, on TikTok, everyone lays into Dane for that, but no one really lays into Mira. I don't know if it's kind of a double standard, because it's family versus friend, female versus male, like the alpha male saying, I've got this.
Yeah.
But they're both coming from the same place. They both care about her, and they both don't think she's going to cut it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing that people don't like Dane, but they do like Mira, and it's how I felt about
Yeah.
Mira as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess it's just because obviously Mira is like the big sister you are expecting. There's like kind of like her job, look after the little sister, and she knows her so well and that kind of stuff. But when Viola is talking about Darren, then he was like kind of
like a brother.
Yeah, like a brother, and at the same time kind of like a lover that didn't happen.
Yeah, maybe not a brother.
Yeah.
The boy next door.
Yes, that kind of boy that something might happen but never happened, and now that he is like a leader of the riders, and
he got. I don't know how she describes him, but he got really fit.
Yeah, so for her, he looks hot now, and now she's interested about him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same feelings from him to her, but kind of. It's like there's like created now like sexual tension.
Doesn't she say that she can't help but wonder if finally they're on the same page?
Yeah.
So it sounds like there was like she liked him at one point, but he didn't. Then he liked her.
Yeah,
and
they were
she
like
didn't. It's like off.
Yeah,
like just
they
off
never
timing.
much, but yeah. So.
Brother wasn't the right word, was it? Sorry. More like just really close friend.
Unless it's kind of like the brother from Pornhub or something like that. But yeah, so he tried to help her, just like taken away from the riders and sent them back to the scribes. She said that she can't go. The mother said that she either success as a rider or she will die, but she won't be as pregnant. Yeah, very much. And then he said, okay, he's going to try to help her. He's going to put him basically under his wing.
Squad. He's not a wing leader.
Yeah, but he's trying to help her, like protect her, because he knows as well that once everyone starts to know about that she is, some girl daughter, everyone will go after her. But that didn't last very long, and obviously, Satan, he had their eyes on her. You can tell that he's like he wants to keep her close. I don't know why. I guess because so far everything saying that he wants to kill her, and he talked with the other guys, and she is now like one of the guys.
Yeah, she's in fourth wing.
Yes.
One thing about Dane that I only noticed in maybe my like third or fourth read of these chapters, and we still don't know anything, but it's a bit suspicious. She mentions a scar on his chin twice.
Yeah. Yes, but I think there's a time when they were talking about Satan and his dragon. Say that dragon is like one of the most like terrified dragons, and the other dragons like know as well. And he mentioned his dragon, I think it's called Cat. Yeah. He could be like hard work as well. So that
you
might
think
be.
Maybe he got the scar from the dragon?
Yes.
Maybe. I just feel like it's really weird that she mentions it twice. If it was, and then that's it. I can't remember any more mentions of it in the rest of the two books. But in the first chapter, she mentions it twice. So, not the first, but whatever chapter we're on, third chapter.
So it's weird they mention the scar, but there's no other mention like how he did or there's a reason or anything.
Yeah.
But
maybe we find out in the third one or the fourth one.
Yeah, but I don't know. It could be the dragon, like his own dragon doing it, or I don't know if he's been already in battles because he's like second year, I think.
Yeah.
He is. So I don't know if just in 2 years he had like enough time to like go for battles and all the stuff. But I think he does because Mira, she is second year as well, I think.
No, Mira's.
No, she's lieutenant.
Yeah, she's lieutenant. She's like
so she's been more. Yeah.
Well, she's off. She's not in the college anymore.
Yeah.
She only came to visit. The other thing, like, we find out about Dane's signet. Or is that the next chapter?
Yeah, I think that's in the next chapter.
Okay.
But yeah, we're talking about like when you like had this link with the dragon, you had the signal, the dragon had like this like powers, and it passed to you somehow, and it channels into you. But I remember when he wanted to take Violet to like his bedroom or somewhere else, he was able to like open the door. Kind of like, I don't know if I like.
I think they call it lesser magic or something.
Yeah.
So you can channel, once the dragon channels, I don't think this is a spoiler, it's just an explanation. Once the dragon channels, you can use that power to do like turn on lights and write with a pen instead of a quill and open doors, and everyone can do that. That's like nothing special. Move things like slightly, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing that I didn't know if
but
I
the signet is like the true power that is a result of the
unique
rider. Yeah, the it's controlled by the rider. It's not the dragon. The dragon's giving them the power, and then it gets converted into a signet by the rider.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something really interesting for me as well. I didn't know if every single rider had like a small powers, like different small powers, and then you had the big one, there's the signal.
The small ones are all the same, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so after that, we go into chapter 4, and then in chapter 4, we have now more like a little bit more story from Dane. So he's talking more about his power. He's talking about what is the signal, and he tells him that he can read the last memories, which is interesting, I think, because remember there was a mention as well about like a forbidden signal, like mind reading. And
good spot. That's a good spot on the first read.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, he can read the last memory just by touching somebody, so he can't do it if he's not touching or anything else, but that's now that he's doing it.
Yeah, I think so. I think signets get stronger, and that is quite suspicious for me. So he might be able to also look further back than recent memories, because signets get stronger the more you practice, the more you hone the skill. So it might actually become the forbidden signet.
Yeah, that would be like something interesting to see later on how he develops this. It might be like, yeah, like
I don't think he would tell anyone.
Well, it's forbidden, so if he tells to anyone, they will try to
He's
kill
dead.
him.
Yeah. I don't think he'd tell anyone.
Yeah, maybe in some point it would be obvious that he can do it, or
No,
he will do it in a specific point where
he would
it would be really
keep
useful.
reaching for cupping people's faces. But it's interesting knowing now that he can do that. When you read forward, every time he touches Violet.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be like.
You can try and see if there's a hint that he's reading her memories.
Yes. Because I believe he's gonna be like really useful for intelligence, but I don't know if we will see that actually happening, like that in action. Because it's like, okay, he need to touch the person, but does the person feel something when he's reading the memories, or the person doesn't be affected by this?
Don't know. I don't know.
Yes, so that's like one of the takeaways from chapter 4, and then after that they had to go to the battle brief, and that's like the beginning of chapter 5. Anything else that you think we need to talk about chapter 4 or
No, I
about
only
this
had
specific?
the Dane scar, which is weird, and
Yeah, there is some mention about it, but then nothing else.
yeah, and we already talked about that, and then
Mm-hmm.
Dane's signet. That was the only other.
Yeah, so obviously he will be like somebody important, or it's gonna be like really valuable for the writers because he's gonna be able to, if they capture somebody, some of the enemy, he will be able to relight the recent memories.
His
of
dad's
the
quite
survivor.
important as well, like General
General
Sorengel. They're
friends.
friends.
Yes.
He's our advisor, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so finally chapter 5, and then in chapter 5 we had a battle brief, and then we see the entrance of Professor Markham.
Yeah, the scribe.
This scribe, he's supposed to be like made by his pupil star.
Protege.
Yes.
Or Jedi, what do you call that?
No, you're gonna be the better one.
Padawan.
Yes, but from the way that I understand it, the healer is really important, but he's really old, and then he's going to pass everything to her. But yeah, now she's there giving class to the riders, and now Violet is there, so will be like depressing for
He
him
calls
as well.
her Violet as well, doesn't he?
No,
And
no.
then it's like Cadet
Cadet
Sorengel.
Sorengel.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he must have been friends, or at least a close colleague with her dad.
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
well.
because obviously the dad was a scribe as well, so I don't know if there's some mention about the
I think
relationship
he was
between
quite.
the two.
I would assume he was quite high up in the scribes as well.
Yeah.
Like he was well trusted.
Yes, exactly. But yes, we have Professor Marhan, and then we start to talk about some attacks that's been in some other regions. I think they're talking about the Eastern Wing. They're being attacked by, how do you call it, Griffons?
Griffins.
Flyers. Yes, and they obviously, you can tell that it's just like a training for the riders, so there's not just physical, there has to be like mentally as well, so they know about the strategies and this kind of stuff. And I think it's in this point when for Violet being a scribe is really useful because she has so much information about the place where she lives, about other stuff that she can just be like taking stuff, details that
She
nobody
knows
else.
what to ask.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a show when the professors they were like asking to the first years ask questions about it because they want to know like how good they are with all of this. And she's like actually the one who does a really good question. But she's not confident enough and she passes it to
Oh no, it's
Ren.
not that she's not confident. Dane tells her to keep her head low
Yeah.
because Zayden Ryzen's in the class, and by that point, he's already confirmed to her that everyone knows he wants to kill her. Or is that?
In chapter 4, there's a meeting between Dane and Violet. They're talking, and they say down, see them. And then when he goes there and talking, like, I knew that your parents are like really good friends, but you two have to be like so obvious.
So obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't stop yawning.
It's late, by the way, for us.
So, yeah, so she's not confident. She's confident. She just, like, she knows she's right. It's just that she's trying to take Dane's advice because she doesn't want Zayden. Or, I guess, she was already told by her mum that she would be targeted as a Sorengale. Like, people will try and test her. So
Yeah.
she's trying to keep her head low. And then when she gets, when Devera says, maybe you'd like to ask your own questions in future, and then Markham says Cadet Sorengale, everyone then knows who.
Yeah, so there was no point now to hide or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we start to see like, okay, there's something going on in this region. They go with Gryphons and they're not like really good for that kind of attack, so the question is like
You
why?
can't cope with altitude.
Yeah, exactly. So why they talking? And we start to find out.
Well, why would they go somewhere that they're not strong?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why do you think? Come on.
I mean,
we can be in Bastlebury.
so Griffins are not really good highs in altitude, but I don't know if there's something else that actually they are good. I don't know if they're good like searching, or they're good like sensing something, or they're like something else. There's like
Or they're just totally desperate.
yes, or
They really want the thing that they're searching for.
yeah, they have like no more resources.
They take a
That
risk.
would be like my next question as well, or my next guess. That's the only thing that they have to do that kind of mission, so they just
They
do
really,
it.
really want it.
Yes. So at the moment when we're reading this, we know that okay, there've been like an attack. Then Satan is the first one towards like what was the estates or the village by the end, and then they get that okay, they were looking for something. Do we know what they were? What do we have? They are looking so desperately, and so far they say they don't. They don't know. And this in this chapter it's shown like that.
Or that's what they say. You never know with these people.
Yes. They said from the beginning there will be like stuff that they won't say to them because they're still like working on it.
Yeah.
So probably they just want to give a little bit of train
Or
to the cadets.
they're just cadets. Like some of this information might be classified. It's like
Yeah, what
army
they want to tell them.
information. Yeah, they don't tell everyone everything, do they?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, there was something else when Violet was talking about it, doing her calculations, and then she knew the riders that went to defend the Esther Wing. They knew already that something was going on, so everyone was laughing about her, about this girl, but she was right. One of the dragons was sensing that something was going on, and then all of them went to defend. So that's pretty cool as well, that the dragons can sense this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like this bit a lot because you're already starting to get a sense of the world outside
Yeah.
the college, and there's a war going on, and it's serious, and there's attacks, and there's the wards, which are the protective spells, the protective barriers around the region. They're faltering, and they get nervous when one of the cadets says, "How often? Is it the first time?" Or I can't remember what she asks.
Yes, it's not the first time, so it's happened a couple of times. The wars happen in the fall a couple of
Yeah,
times.
and then she says, "How often are they falling?" And Markham says, "That's above your pay grade," or something.
Yeah.
He shuts her down. So they're obviously worried about it, and that's why I like this class as a whole, because they're starting to learn the seriousness of the situation, and they've not just come here to become riders, they've come here to become weapons.
Yeah, exactly. They're supposed to be the elite about all their schools, so really they don't need to be just physical, they need to be intelligent, they need to be like ready in all aspects.
Yeah, but
So-
some of them totally aren't, like Twat Barlow. He's an idiot.
Yes.
How did he pass the exam? I don't know what the rider's exam is, though. Is it just agility? And you'd think there'd be some intelligence part, wouldn't you?
So far I can't tell that it's just like doing exams or anything. It's just more like
Physical.
try to teach him or trying to make him think, or not like testing.
No, I mean to get in to be a rider.
Mhm.
You had to do a test, and she passed the test to get in.
Yeah,
And she said she was like the fastest, or she came really high up on agility
yeah.
and speed. But you'd think to be a rider, you'd have
I thought it
to
was like a
have some-
general test, and then
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
like,
maybe.
and then about your
Then you
result.
just choose.
Yeah, like I don't know here, but like I'm from Colombia. If you want to be like a lawyer or a doctor, you need to do like this test, and you need to have like a specific punctuation to
Score,
do this.
yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you won't be able to do it. So I thought that when they were talking about Violet being like the fastest, and she was like really agile, I thought it was like a regular test they do to all of them, and
Like the
then
bleep test. Did you ever have to do that at school? It's like what they do to be a police officer.
Yeah, no, never
Couldn't
did.
think of the word. It's like a test where you run between 2 points and you have to make it before the next beep, and the beep gets really fast.
All right.
So
No,
it's
I
quite,
never heard
it's
something
quite
like that.
fun.
Yeah, but I thought you do like a general test. General test. And then from that, according to your score, yeah, you can go to be a rider, or no, you didn't reach that, but you could be a infantry, or you can be a healer, or you can be a
Oh, I
scribe.
thought you could just choose. But I did assume there was like a slightly different test. You know how I thought rider would be a bit more of a PE test, a physical test, and healers might be a bit more like chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and then infantry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just where everyone else goes. And the scribes, you have to do a written 3 hour. Because she does say, I was preparing for the scribes written exam.
Yeah.
So that's why it must be different. It must be a different test.
I might be wrong, but from my point of view, was like there's kind of like a general test, and then obviously there's like the preparation for the specific one that you want to do.
Oh, you know what? I think, I think you're right. So I think there's a general test. I need to read this again. I think there's a general test.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scribe's written exam, maybe that's what they do on conscription day. You know
Yeah.
how the riders cross the parapet?
Yeah.
The scribes take a written exam, and then the healers must do
Yeah, something different as well. Yeah.
different, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I will see that.
And if you
the
pass the
book.
test, you're a scribe. If you don't pass the test, you go. Just like if, or at least you can go home. If
You
don't
can die.
Yeah, you don't fall in, like, I don't know how far it is, at 200 metres. No, that can't be that high.
Can't remember.
I can't. Yeah, but you don't fall to your death if you fail an exam. It might feel bad, but
Yeah.
I'll try again next year.
Yeah, the graduate that is just if you want to be a writer.
Yeah.
The other one is just graduate or fail.
Graduate or fail.
It's not that impact. But,
Oh, failure's
or
terrible.
graduate or repeat next year. Yeah. But yeah, after this, it's just gonna be like the sparring section as well that they had to do. We had the
Can you
Jack
imagine how
Barlow
bad I'd be at that?
just circling all around.
I like try and put in a pathetic punch. It wouldn't be good.
Yes. But yeah, again we have Jack Barlow again showing off as the bad guy and that kind of stuff, but
What kind of a he's a psychopath.
yeah. We don't know at the moment like what pushed this guy to be a twat. But,
Yeah, what's his backstory?
mm.
Where did he come from? Why is he...
There's always a story
Weird.
behind, isn't it? Like behind every single bad guy or psycho, there's always a sad story
There's always
behind.
a story, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Joker.
Yeah, exactly. But with this one, at the moment, like I say, he's just like taking with the one that he knows that he can be like above, like physically. So he killed another guy, and then he like, I didn't
How
know.
does I know who's... How
They
would
didn't know
I...
he was so weak, or and just that strong.
You're next, Soaring Girl.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I didn't get that part. I don't know if he actually was like telling her like you're next, or she was like remember like I can
Oh, yeah,
still
'cause she
remember
does keep-
she saying you're next.
She does that a lot, where she's like, my mum's words repeat in my head, or Zayden's words from
Yeah.
earlier repeat. So yeah, you're right, you never can tell if she's just remembering something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then Violet has his own sparring session as well. She was doing good, I guess, trying to avoid and trying to just not get like being attacked for the other one. But then by the end of the chapter, how would I say, she didn't win, but she didn't yield either.
She
I used to
definitely
give summary.
loses, but it shows that she's not a wimp and she's
Yeah.
not weak.
She didn't lose because she didn't try or because she's a coward or anything. Just because the other one was
Yeah.
stronger than her.
And maybe I said the wrong thing earlier, because I said Mirror said, "You're not weak, you're fragile."
Yeah.
And that maybe is the difference. Like, her bone broke because Imogen twisted it the wrong way, but she's not weak because she didn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there is like a subtle difference there between weakness and fragility.
They say that a lot, like, yeah, that you're not weak, you're fragile. So it's like, obviously, she had like a condition or something. Or,
Yeah, she does. It's Euler's Daniel. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a chronic condition that causes a lot of pain and for joints. I don't know enough about it, to be honest, but the author has it as well, and her children does. So, and I believe that she'd never seen a main character with it, so wanted to show that
Alright.
it's not a weakness. And I think that is so true, and I hadn't thought of it until we started talking about it just now, but weakness is maybe a mindset,
Yeah.
whereas fragility is like a physical thing.
Yeah.
And Violet, like, certainly isn't weak. She's a really strong female main character. I love Violet, and I think sometimes with other fantasy series, it either takes me a while or to get, or I feel like there's always something that I don't quite get about the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's female or male, I always kind of have some. But I just really like Violet. I don't know what it is about Violet, but I just think she's she is the best main character of a story that I've ever read.
Yeah.
I think that's why I love the book so much, because I love the protagonist.
Yeah, I guess it may be just because she is not like the typical superhero, the typical warrior that you see. She just looks more like normal, more human. That she had like a lot of adversity, but she doesn't give up. She just keep fighting against all the odds.
Yeah, but I think like that's kind of a normal thing, isn't it? Where the protagonist, it's very rare that the protagonist is perfect or no. So like Harry, he doesn't really know anything about the wizarding world. He's a muggle. He's a bit lazy, like he leaves his homework to the last minute. He's not remarkable. He's not Hermione. He struggles with spells. And he's kind of always on the back foot, but he seems to come out on top. And then there's another one in ACOTAR, which you haven't read yet. But
No.
Feyre, the main character, she can't read. So there's always something where you know that they're going to struggle against.
Yeah.
All odds, they'll make it. So yeah, I don't know what it is about Violet, but I just really, really think she's the best.
Yeah.
I really like her. She's like, also she swaps her boot with Ree the first time she meets her. That's the type of.
Yeah, even when the sister literally told her a few minutes before, don't make friends.
Forge alliances.
Yeah.
And that's not what she's doing, but she does mention later that she kind of only listens into a conversation between Tara, the new character, and Rhiannon, just in case she needs to forge an alliance later. So she's kind of taken her advice, but
yeah. But it's not like her nature. Just she wants to help the people that she likes, basically.
Yeah, she wants to save her friends.
Yes, that is something that you can see.
So the sparring. Back to Imogen. Imogen is such an interesting character, and you learn quite a lot more about Imogen.
Yeah.
But she kind of loses it a bit. She gets emotional, and that's what Violet says, is that as soon as you bring emotions into a fight, it's over. So she's winding her up. She's saying, I'm proud of my mum's service to Navarre, from threats, against threats from without and within. So it's interesting how she's very supportive of her mother. She's kind of winding up the fact that Imogen is a traitor.
Yeah.
Just because her parents, can't remember if it was her mum or her dad, to be honest, but
Yeah, well, the parents, they were like traitors.
Yeah. So, how did you like it? Do you want to know what happens next, or are you just reading it because I'm making
You
you
made
read
me.
it? I'm not making
Yeah,
you
it
read
was
it.
a horrible idea.
But do you want to know what happens next? Like,
Yeah, at the moment, what I feel is like, okay, with these 5 chapters, it's like it's building up. So I don't feel like, oh my god, this is so good, or I'm not in that stage yet. I find that like, okay, I see like where this is going. I feel like, okay, interesting. I want to see a little bit more. But yeah, definitely, I want to find out what else happens. What happened with Zayden.
I can't wait to for you to like learn more about. So I really love the signets. I really love the finding out, like speculating what people's signets are. We only know a few so far. So we know General Sorrengail is a storm wielder.
Yeah.
Well, I say we, you only know that Dane can read recent memories.
Then the
General
big boss.
Melgren.
He can pretty know. Oh well, yeah, he can see the outcome of the battles.
Yeah, he
before it
can
happens.
see whether they win or lose before it happens.
Yes.
I don't think you know any more.
Somebody can make things really big or really small.
Oh yeah, Mira's rider friend.
Yes.
Mira's ride. Then they talk about the standard ones like ice wielding, fire wielding, wind manipulation. So, but then there's some
forbidden one.
Yeah, the mind reading. But you don't know what Mira's signet is yet. You don't know what Zayden's is. What do you think Zayden's could be?
I don't know a clue, but it has to be something good because the dragon is like one of the best dragons. It's like.
It's nothing to do with dragon.
What, the dragon?
There's a lot of power. It's up to Zayden what he does with it.
Yeah, but I think that could be like a little combination because when Dan was talking to Violet, he's ruthless. That's one of the reasons the dragon. How is the dragon's name? Like Sigel? Sigel. There was a reason why Sigel chose him.
Yeah.
Because maybe they are not. Yes. Yeah. Maybe because they are two equal.
Yeah.
So I think those two, they can have like a really good,
like really strong power. Yeah. Yeah, he does have a strong power. It's really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I will find out. I don't know at what point.
Yeah. But you get signets that are like the standard ones that a lot of people have, or you have signets that are gonna, like, I think she calls them, it's the type of signet that will make your whole career. So like Dane, they'll use him in intelligence. He's not going to be on the front lines, is he? Because his signet's going to be pretty useless in a battle. Yeah. Whereas some people who might be ice wielding, there's several things that they could do. They could be like throwing ice at griffins, or they could be working with healers because people need, like, medics need ice. Like, there's lots of things that
working in a bar, making ice for drinks.
Cocktails.
Really useful power.
That's what happens when you retire.
Yeah.
So there's different ones that and it's all of that. We've got so many characters that throughout both books, and we still don't know what their signet is. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, so I guess when I don't know, if next episode I'm going to read another 5 chapters, so
yes.
I guess.
But before we stop, I want to know who you think would win in a battle between Mira Sorrengail and Twat Barlow. From what you've seen so far.
Okay, from what I've seen so far, definitely Mira.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, because first, she's a lieutenant, which means she's been through a lot of stuff already. She is a Sorrengail, which means that she had to like go through face a lot of stuff, a lot of people, just because she had that name. So when they turn into Violet, then they're not gonna be like kind with her because she's a Soren girl. It's because I think there's experience about it with Brennan and Mira. She has a dragon as well, so it's gonna be the battle with the dragon.
No, and when you say hand to hand, like there's no signets allowed, but
it's still like in the description they give about Mira, she's like muscling because of the hours fighting the dragon, all the stuff that she does. So I think she's already like a little weapon.
Yeah.
Jack Barlow, he is, like I said at the beginning, he's a coward. He's just going for the weak ones. So he can be like,
good point.
Yes, but definitely in this one, I would give it to Mira.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. She's not like Violet. She knew she was going to be a rider. So from a very young age, she was raised as a rider.
Yeah.
So she would have been taught hand to hand. She's like, she took out a battery behind enemy lines. Do you think she did that without meeting an enemy?
Yeah.
So she must be good off her dragon as well as on. I totally agree with you. Mira gets
and she had more experience in sparring as well.
I'd like to see it though, because she wouldn't show any mercy to her.
Yeah. Snap the neck as well.
Especially if she knew what he'd done to Violet on the parapet.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so next week I guess 6 to 10. 6 to 10? I don't know what happens.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'll have to read it again.
Yeah.
We'll probably do chapter 6 to 10 next
episode.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so like I said, I found that interesting. I really want to see what's going on, what happened, and we'll see if little by little I'm getting more into these books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've made it to the end of this episode of JC's first read through Fourth Wing, please give us a like or a follow, a subscribe, or if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on one of the podcast apps, please take the time to give us a review, share it with your friends who likes fantasy series, particularly Fourth Wing, and wants to hear a completely new perspective of somebody that doesn't know what happens for the rest of the books. Also from the perspective of someone who's written their own fantasy book. I think you've got a bit of an author brain, and I think that's why you've picked out quite a lot of detail in the first 5 chapters. So thanks for listening to Faithfully Fantasy. Please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy. And we look forward to hearing from you all.
Yes, just let you know as well that we have a website as well where you can see a little bit more about us. So if you go to faithfullyfantasy.com, you can see as well the rest of the podcast that we have. You can see what else we're doing. You can follow us. We have all the information there, guys. So please have a look, faithfullyfantasy.com. And we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Next week on Faithfully Fantasy.
Trust me, we have a lot of things to say.
We learn Zayden. He can control the motherfucker.
Rebecca Yarros with this guy just giving like everything. Yeah, tall, muscly, really handsome. Like somebody was
What's
like
his flaw? Give this man a flaw.
The dragon, yeah, he got the baddest dragon and the whole kingdom. Now like the second night, yeah, he's
getting jealous.
I think there's gonna be a time that he and Violet is going to be together at some point. He's going to take the trousers off and then she's going to say I saw like 12 inches cock. And it's gonna be like, oh, really? Come on.